Hello students, let us start few important numericals based on Kirchhoff's laws. We had already discussed a simple numericals on Kirchhoff's laws as well as Kirchhoff's laws also. So in this class we will be discussing 4 to 5 numericals along with the concepts which will be having most probability in asking your NEET exam. Let us start the session. There is a circuit here. So this is a circuit, I can say it is a complicated one because there are two cells are present here and there are number of resistors. You cannot say whether they are connected in series and parallel just by looking at it. To some extent you can tell, but not in 100%. Now, in your exam, final NEET exam, the amount of complication will not be like this. It will be less than that because they will understand the psychology of a student. They will not give this kind of problems which will take 5 to 6 minutes for you to solve, even in the exam hall. So, but still, it is our responsibility to do that, right? So, we will be learning. Find I1, I2 and I in this circuit. Everything they have given. There is a resistor here, there are two resistors and there is a cell of 5 volts and there is cell of 8 volts and there is a resistor here. So this is the resistance is 2 ohm. Now let's begin. What I have told you, when there are 2 or 3 cells are present in a circuit, the cell having more EMF will dominate the current presence in the circuit. So this is 5 volt and this is 8 volt. Which cell will dominate the circuit current? 8 volt. Yes. Positive terminal, negative terminal. So the current I is starting in the circuit from here. The same I is flowing through 1 ohm resistance and the same I is flowing through 2 ohm resistor. At this junction, that means the point C, there are 2 paths for the current. One path will be flowing towards here, that is I1. The another path is I2. So at this junction, if I apply Kirchhoff's first law, which is called current rule, I is equal to I1 plus I2. Okay. Now, I1 current is flowing through this cell and through 1 ohm is I1, through 4 ohm, so I1 will reach here. Okay. So now concentrate on I2. I2 is the current flowing here. See, the I2 is the current flowing to 3 ohm resistor and I2 is the current flowing here. So I1 will be reaching to this junction. I2 will be reaching to this junction here. I1 plus I2 will gives you I. See here, irrespective of the number of resistors connected, irrespective of the number of cells connected, how much current has started from this positive terminal, the same amount of current must reach the negative terminal back. So that's the concept of the cell or the battery or in the circuit. Okay. Now to find I1, I2 and I values, we have to use the Kirchhoff's second law called loop rule. Okay. In the loop rule, so let me revise a loop rule for you here. For example, if the current is moving in our loop direction, right? So then the potential difference across this will be minus IR. If the current is moving opposite direction of our loop consideration, so your potential difference across that resistor will be plus IR. When our loop direction is touching the negative terminal of the cell, then the potential across this will be what? Plus or minus? It is plus V. Okay. So our loop direction is touching the positive terminal of the battery, so then it will be minus V is the EMF of the cell or the potential difference across the cell, right? These are the 4 sign conventions we had learned. Let's start. To apply Kirchhoff's second law, I had told you clearly there must be a loop of your consideration. So this is A, B, C, D, E, F. at different junctions, that means different points I have mentioned here. Let's consider the loop. Let us consider the loop called A, B, C, F, A. Okay. So the loop of consideration is A, B, C, F, A. So this is my loop consideration here. So in this loop, starting from here, right? So this is what? The loop of my consideration. This is the loop of consideration. Starting from here. And let's apply Kirchhoff's second law, which is called voltage law, which is also called the law of conservation of energy. Okay. Our loop direction is like this. See, the current is passing through this resistor opposite to the direction of loop, and the potential difference across is what? Plus I2 into R. Okay, see. Now we are moving like this. See our loop is touching the negative terminal of the cell. So then the potential difference across this will be positive. So that is plus 5 volt. Okay. So now we are moving like this. See, our loop direction is in the direction of the current. So here the potential difference across this is negative. So what I will write? Minus I1 into R. R is 1 ohm. So here also our loop direction is in the same direction of current. So that is also minus I1 into 4. So which must be equal to 0. Okay, you get one equation in terms of I1 and I2 here. And let us write that equation. Right. So what is this? It's 3I2. It's minus I1 minus 4I1. It is minus 5I1 plus 5 is equal to 0. If you multiply both sides with the negative sign, so it will be minus 3I2 plus 5I1 minus 5 is equal to 0. So this minus 5 taken to the other side, that will be plus I. So plus 5. So it will be 5I1 minus 3I2 is equal to 5. So this is equation 1 in terms of I1 and I2. I have got it. Equation 1. So you should be very careful about the potential difference across each resistor, across each cell. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? You must get 4 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4. And about the sign conventions, you should be very careful. So then only you get the correct answers here. So this is equation 1 we have got. So there are two unknowns here. So two equations must be there in terms of I1 and I2. Then only you can solve the equations, right? So now let's take another loop here. So let me take the big loop A, B, D, E, F, A. Right? So let me consider the loop A, B, C, D, E, F, A. It's a big loop. So in this loop also I am just taking in this way only. This is what my loop of consideration. A to B, right? So what is this potential difference across this? It's minus IR or plus IR. It is plus IR, right? Because the current direction and loop direction are opposite. So plus I2 into R. R is 3. Now, so we are moving like this. So in this way, so not like this. This loop is fixed. So now our loop is considered A, B, C, D. Okay. So now in this way. See here. Here our loop direction is like this. So current is moving in opposite direction. So that is also the potential difference. Plus current is I into the resistance is 2. Okay. So from here, so we are moving like this. So here also the current direction is opposite, right? You can see the loop direction is this one, the current direction is opposite. So that is also plus I into 1 ohm, and we are moving like this. So our loop is touching the negative positive terminal first. So then that will be minus 8. Okay. So we are moving like this then. So that means no resistor or cell is connected. So finally what you can write, it is 0. Okay. So how many resistors, how many cells? Let's count here. So then this counting will help you in correcting your mistakes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. 4 terms must be there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Now here, so what is this? It's 3I2 plus 2i plus I. It's 3i minus 8. I can write it to the other side, that will be plus 8. So this I can also write 3i2 plus 3 into, according to the Kirchhoff's first rule. So what is your I value? Which is I1 plus I2. So this I can write it is I1 plus I2, which is equal to 8 here. So 3i2 plus 3i1 plus 3i2, which is equal to 8. So 3i1 plus 3i2 plus 3i2, so which is 6i2, which is equal to 8 here. Let's see this equation. This is equation number 2, right? Both equations are there in terms of an I1 and I2. Okay, I1 and I2. See this equation. See this equation. So here there is minus 3i2, here there is plus 6i2. How you can convert this into the 3i2, or how you can convert into 6i2, so that i2 terms will get cancelled, i1 is only your unknown. And it is so simple here. So from this equation, so both sides you can take common 2, right? So this is 2 you take common here. Sorry, no, you cannot take common anything here. So then what we do here is, so this term we will make it as both sides multiply with 2. So then you get this as 6i2. Okay. So I am writing here equation 1 is multiplied with 2. So then you get it is 10i1 and this is minus 6i2. See here. So 10i1 minus 6i2 is equal to 10. Done. So this is equation number 3, right? So now equation number 3 and equation number 2 we will be adding now. So let's add equation number 2 and 3. So both left hand side we will be adding first. So 3i1 plus 6i2 plus 10i1 minus 6i2 is equal to, so right hand side terms we will add 8 plus 10, which is 18 here, right? So plus 6i2 minus 6i2 cancel here. So what is this? 3i1 plus 10i1, so which is 13i1 is equal to 18. So from here what I can write? I1 is equal to 18 by 13 ampere. I1 value is how much? 18 by 13 ampere. You can see where the I1 is passing through. So I1 is the passing through this cell, passing through this resistor, passing through this 4 ohm resistor. So now they can ask the question like, what is the current passing through this 4 ohm resistor? So that is 18 by 13 ampere. They may not ask to find I1, I2 and I, right? They may ask any one thing. What is the current passing through this 2 ohm resistor? So that's I is equal to I1 plus I2. Okay, clear? In this way questions can be asked. And let's substitute this I1 value in equation 1. So substitute in equation 1, what happens? Let us check. So equation 1 is what? So 5 into I1. I1 is 18 by 13 minus 3I2, which is equal to 5. So this minus 3I2 you can write the other side. So that will be 5 into 18 by 13 minus 5 is equal to, so minus 3I2 will be plus 3I2 here. So now one more, 5 you can take common. It is 18 by 13 minus 1, which is equal to 3I2. And 5 into, so this is 18 minus 13 by 13 is equal to 3I2. I am not doing any kind of complex mathematics. So simple mathematics only, but 99% of the students will do these mistakes in simple mathematics. Okay, so you should be 100% confident and attentive while solving this simple mathematics. Those are called silly mistakes. Please avoid them. 5 into, it's 18 minus 3, it is 5 by 13 is equal to 3I2. Okay, so it's called 25 by 13 into 3. How much? It is 39. So your I2 value will be 25 by 39 ampere, right? I1 is there, I2 is there. So can you calculate the I1? I is equal to I1 plus I2. And let me write your I is equal to I1 plus I2. So what is I1, sorry, what is I1? Here, 18 by 13. 18 by 30 plus, so what is I2? What is I2? I2 is 25 by 30. 25 by 39, right? So here, I if you want, you can take common, it is 1 by 13. So this is 18 plus 25 by, so here 1 by 13 is taken common, 25 by, this is 3, right? Okay. So here, 1 by 30 into the LCM value is 3, and this is how much? 18 3s are how much? 18 3s are 54 plus 25. So I is equal to 54 plus 25, 79 by, it's 13. 1 by 13 is taken. 13 into 3, it's 39. See here, the current passing through each resistor you can find, and the current passing through the complete circuit you can find. Any question they can ask, right? So whatever the possibility of asking question we have discussed here, and let us solve one more question. See this numerical, there are 12 resistors. 12 resistors which are arranged in a cubical structure. How it is possible? And let's see. I'm just drawing a rough diagram of a cube. See here. So there is a resistance R, and here also R, here R, and here also there is a resistance R, right? 4. And this is 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 resistors are connected. 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? You can count. 12 resistors are connected in this cubical structure. Each resistance is R. I'm writing here. Each value is R. Okay. Now this question is, there is a point A here and there is a point B here. So what are these 2 points? Can I say these 2 points are the body diagonal points? This is the cube will have a face diagonal. Imagine this is the face. So this point and this point are called face diagonal points. So let me write. So this is the point called C. These A and C are the points called face diagonal. Or this also can be the face diagonal. Okay. So I am just naming for your better understanding. A and C points are called face diagonal. I am writing the same here. AC is the face diagonal. AB is the body diagonal. Right? And there is an adjacent sides also there, adjacent side points. So this A and here I can write a point called D. This A and D points are called adjacent side, and here and these 2 points are called adjacent side point. These 2 are called adjacent side point, and these 2 are called adjacent side points. Any 2, right? Adjacent points. So what I can write here? So here in our example, AD are the point called adjacent points. Right? These are. This is the problem we are discussing about the body diagram. Body. A and B are the 2 points given. The question is to find the effective resistance of the cube when the battery is connected between A and B. Battery is connected between A and B. How the battery is connected between A and B? And see, this is point A and this is point B here. So the battery is connected in this way. There is a positive terminal here and there is a negative terminal here. It's connected like this. Understand? So the potential of the battery is V. The potential difference between these 2 points is V. V is called VAB, which is equal to VA minus V. That's the potential. Okay. Clear? So we will be using the concept called Kirchhoff rules and the very important concept we have discussed in solving the resistor problems called symmetric method. So what are the things we are using to solve this problem now? I am just writing here. Loss plus the method of symmetry plus the method of symmetry. Okay. Now let's start. At this junction A, how many paths are there for the current? 1, 2, 3. Right? At the last junction, how many paths are there for the current? 1, 2, 3. Very good. How the current got split here, the same way the currents will come and reach the point B. Right? That's called the method of symmetry. Now, imagine, for your better understanding, there is a current 3I has started here. And this is the 3I is reaching here. As this resistance and this resistance is same, current will split into 3 different, that means 3 similar ways. So this is the current I and this current is I and this current is also I. So that is Kirchhoff's first rule. What is the Kirchhoff's first rule here? So your 3I got split into the I plus I plus I. Okay, clear? So according to the method of symmetry, same way I must reach here also. It must be I, it must be I and this must be I. Okay. Clear? Now, let's discuss about the middle portion. Concentrate on this I. This is the I passing through this resistor and reach here. At this junction, again there is 2 paths. In those 2 paths, the resistance is same, R and R. And the current will be splitting in the same way. For example, if the resistance is more, current passing through the wire will be less. Right? Here, the resistors are same. Same amount of current, that means I by 2 and I by 2 will be flowing through this. Concentrate on the second. This current I is meeting at this junction and for this junction there are for this current at this junction there are 2 resistors, both are same. So here also it is I by 2 and here it is I by 2 will split. Now third current you concentrate. I is passing through this resistor at this junction. For this I, there are 2 paths. So it is I by 2 here and it is I by 2 here. Okay. Now, let's understand this part. How the I has reached here. So there is I by 2 current from this path and there is I by 2 current from this path. You see here, there is I by 2 current from this path. So both will meet at this point. So what 2 I by 2s are? This is I by 2 and from here also there is I by 2 reaching I to the B terminal from one path, right? So concentrate on this path. How you will be concentrating on this path? There is I by 2 here, I by 2, right? And there is another I by 2 from here you can see. So I by 2 and I by 2 will meet and becomes I and this is I reach to the negative terminal from this path and concentrate on this path. And what is this path? There is current I by 2 here, alright? current I by 2 here, and there is a current I by 2 from this also you can see. So there is a current I by 2 also from this path, and both currents will meet together and becomes I and reach the third path I. Okay. Now you can derive the concept of cubical resistors in the three cases. 1, 2, 3 cases. We can derive the effective resistance between any 2 points by considering it. But the derivation is complicated. Lot of practice is required. We are not going to derive the 3 cases. We are going to derive one case which is commonly asked. And I am giving you a shortcut to remember all whatever may be the case finding the effective resistance. Okay, so we will be discussing it. So just concentrate here. So what is our concept here? Method of symmetry we have used 100%. And Kirchhoff laws let us use here. So I am just taking, so we need what to find the effective resistance, right? So find R effective. To find R effective, so what I am going to do here, so V is equal to IR, R is equal to V by I. So the total potential difference of the cell by total current. So what is the total current here? So can I say the total current is 3I? Yes, from the cell how much current is passing? 3I. And for your better understanding I am telling you, this you can also consider as I. Nothing will happen. This you can consider I current is flowing here. So this I will split into the 3 parts, I by 3, I by 3, I by 3. Same, at this junction, I by 3 will split into the 2 parts here and here. So the answer will be same. Okay. So for our convenience, we have taken 3. Then it will be very simple that I. Then at this point I by 2, at this junction I by 2, and at this junction also I by 2. Right? Now, R effective is equal to V by 3I. Then, this is our A. V, it's already here, 3I. So, this is our A. Let me take a loop called A, right? A, B. This is the point, we have not given any name. So, let me give the name called X. A, B, X, B, A. Right? So the loop I am considering is A, B, X, B, A. A, B, X, B, A is the loop of consideration. So in this loop, how I am just taking the loop. So the loop of consideration is like this. Loop of consideration is so A to A, right? Let's start. So our loop direction is like this. So current direction is also like this. So this is having the resistance what? R. Each having resistance is R. So that is minus IR. Okay. So at this junction, so what happens here? Our loop direction is like this. So current is I by 2 and the resistance is R. Our loop direction and current direction is same. So this is minus RIR by 2. So here it is moving like this. And here. So there is a resistance R. So the current is I. So our loop direction and current direction is same. So this is minus IR and we are moving like this. No resistor, no resistor. Yes, there is a cell. Our loop direction is touching the negative terminal of the cell. So that is plus potential difference of this cell is V, which is equal to 0. So V I am just keeping here and rest of the things I am just taking the other side. So IR minus IR also taken to other side, that will be plus IR, minus IR by 2, that's a plus IR by 2. So V is equal to what I can write 2IR plus IR by 2. So V is equal to 2IR, its LCM is 2 here, it's 4IR plus IR, it's 5IR. Okay. This is the V effective value, right? In terms of what? See, we always find the effective resistance in terms of R. Okay, R by 2, R by 3. Understand? when R resistors are connected, each value is R, we find the effective resistance in terms of R. Okay. Now 5R by 2 here. So this V value you can substitute here. So this V, let us substitute this V in our aim. So effective resistance is equal to V is how much? 5IR by 2 divided by 3I. Okay. So this I can write it as 5IR by 2 into 1 by 3I. So I cancel here. So the effective resistance will be equal to 5R by 6. I can say this is as 5 by 6R. What is that? 5 by 6R. Okay. Clear? So questions will be asked like this. There are 12 resistors which are connected in a cubical shape having each resistance R. Find the effective resistance between the body diagonal points. That's it. So simple. Your answer is 5 by 6 into R. Should not get confused and doing all this stuff. Not at all required. Just try to remember this because we are not going to write any kind of subjective exam in the thing, right? So 5 by 6 into R. Okay. I hope you understand this. Now, what is the shortcut to solve the phase diagonal, body diagonal, and adjacent points? Okay. Clear? Are you ready? Now. What is this? Facebook app, where F stands for phase diagonal. Okay. When the battery is connected across the phase diagonal, the effective resistance values. B stands for body diagonal. When the battery is connected across the body diagonal points, and that is our discussion today, right? Effective resistance is how much? Last A stands for adjacent points. Any two adjacent points, maybe these 2 points, maybe these 2 points, so maybe these 2 points, maybe these 2 points. Okay. Adjacent points. Right? So what is R effective? Listen carefully. R effective will be 3 by 4 R, 5 by 6 R, 7 by 12 R. That's it. Remember, starting from 3. Okay, because how many cases we will be having in these? Only 3 cases. Body diagonal, phase diagonal, adjacent point. There won't be any other case possible. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Start from 3. 3 by 4. 3, 4. Right? 3 by 4 into R. R is value of each resistance. If value of each resistance is given as 4 ohm, 3 by 4 into 4. 4 gets cancelled. Your answer will be 3 ohm. Okay. So come back. 3 by 4. 4 by 6. 7 by 12. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not 8 here. Remember 12. Why? How to remember 12? Total number of resistors we have used how much? 12. Remember it this way. So 3 by 4, 5 by 6, 7 by 12 of resistors. Okay. Clear? Now, the same question can also be asked in the concept of capacitors. Look at here. Same question can also be asked in the case of capacitors. Same. 12 capacitors are connected in cubical form. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Each capacitance is C. Each capacitance is C. So in this case, how to find the effective capacitance? What I am writing here is C effective. Okay. It is just reciprocal of this. Just reciprocal of this. It's 3 by 4 R, right? So it will be 4 by 3 C. C is value of each capacitance. Here 5 by 6 R, right? So it will be 6 by 5 into C. And here 7 by 12 R, right? So it will be 12 by 7 C. Okay. So once you understand this, so this will be easy for you. Understand? I can give you directly like 3 by 4 R, 5 by 6 R, 7 by 12 R. But the students generally get confused that, so 5 by 6 R for what? For the phase diagonal or adjacent point or body diagonal? So that's the reason I have given a shortcut to find the order also. Phase, book, F stands for phase diagonal, B stands for body diagonal, A stands for adjacent point. And you see the capacitance also. Capacitance will be the reciprocal like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12. So resistors, it is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12. Okay. I hope you understand. And today's session, the questions will be also based on the effective capacitance of these things. Okay. Let us start the concept called application of Kirchhoff's rules. The first application is the Wheatstone's bridge. We had already discussed the basics and the shape and structure of the Wheatstone bridge already. So the same we are going to derive whatever we have learned, right? So there is a circuit like this. So the battery is connected V from this end, so this is A and this is B. The potential difference across A and B will be this V. Now the current I is starting here at this junction. So the current is splitting into the two, I2 and I1. Okay. So I2 current will be flowing here, you can see. So this is the galvanometer. Galvanometer is the device which finds the amount of the current as well as the direction of the current passing through the circuit. Understand? So this is the galvanometer. It can also measure amount of current passing through it. That may be the small amount, but it will measure. That indicates it will have some resistance. Yes or no? So now this galvanometer will be having some resistance. So that means some current will be passing through that. So that current is I suffix G. The current passing through the galvanometer. And here I2 current is entered to the junction. Ig current is flowing here, and what is the remaining value here? So remaining value will be I2 minus Ig. Yes or no? Because I2 is the current at this junction, right? Which must be equal to Ig plus I2 minus Ig. And what is your final answer? I2 only. This is what the Kirchhoff's first law tells us. The amount of current moving towards the junction is equal to the sum of the amounts of current moving away from the junction. So that is what the Kirchhoff's first law tells, right? Okay. Concentrate. I1 current is coming in this way, and towards this junction Ig current is coming in this way. So the total it will become I1 plus Ig and moving towards the S resistor and at this junction. And concentrate here. At this junction, how many currents are coming? I2 minus Ig is one component, and this is I1 plus Ig is another component. Say, add these two. Minus Ig plus Ig cancel. And you have your I1 plus I2 which is equal to I. That's okay. So I is equal to I1 plus I2. Okay. Clear? Now the concept is, in a balanced condition, the relation among resistance P, Q, R, S in a balanced condition. You know, in a balanced condition, there won't be any current passing through the galvanometer. So this is the point X if you consider, it's a point Y if you consider. In a balanced condition, potential difference at the point X is equal to potential difference at point Y. So when Vx is equal to Vy, what happened? There won't be potential difference between these 2 points. When there is no potential difference, no current also will pass through this galvanometer. So I can directly say Ig is equal to 0. Okay. Clear? Now, Let us apply Kirchhoff's voltage law. We need to take some loops, right? So this is a loop A, X, Y, A, right? So let me take this loop called A, X, Y, A. A, X, Y, A is a loop I have considered here. So now you can apply voltage across this. So current direction, loop direction is same. So what I can write, minus I2 into resistance P. So here Ig also will have, G also will have some resistance, I told you. That resistance is G. Okay. So here our loop direction and current direction is same. So it's minus Ig into G. So in this, say here, our loop direction and current direction is opposite. So what I can write, it's plus I1, the current is I1. I1 into the resistance is R here. Okay. Which is equal to 0. This Ig, the current passing through Ig is 0 because we are talking about the balanced condition. So this is 0. Then I2P, this is minus I2P plus I1R is equal to 0. So I1R is equal to I2P. So from here, I1 by I2, I1 by I2 is equal to what? P by R. So let's take this is equation 1. Okay. Let me take another loop. So this is the first loop we have considered. The second loop, let me take, this is the second loop. This is my second loop. What is that? X, Y, B, X. Right? So let me take a loop X, Y, B, X. X, Y, P, X. Okay, fine. So the loop direction and the current direction is same here. So that is minus Ig into G is the resistance of the galvanometer. Okay. So here our loop direction and current direction is same. So what is this? Minus current I1 plus Ig into resistance of this is S. Okay. So our loop direction and current direction are opposite. Okay. Then that will be plus I2 minus Ig into Q is equal to 0. Ig is 0, right? Because we are talking about the balancing condition. So this term will be 0 and this term will be 0 and remaining here is minus I1 into S plus, so this term will be 0. So this is plus I2 into Q is equal to 0. I2Q is equal to I1S. From here also you can write I1 by I2 is equal to what? So Q by S. Okay, it's equation 2. Can I equate equation 1 and 2? Because both are I1 by I2 only. So equation 1 is equal to equation 2. So what I can write? So P by R is equal to Q by S. So in this way I can write R P by Q is equal to R by S. That is what we have discussed. The first concept of Wheatstone bridge. So when the ratio of these two P by R is equal to Q by S, there won't be any current passing through it. You can eliminate this resistance, right? And find effective resistance and find total current and find the potential difference. Now, on this ratio P by Q is equal to R by S, same situation. Okay, clear? Now, and one more important thing here, very important thing. In one of the NEET exam, this question also was asked in theoretical question. What they have done here, they have removed this battery and connected in the place of galvanometer, and the galvanometer connected here. They have just exchanged the potential of the battery and the galvanometer positions. Still, experimentally, they have found the Wheatstone bridge condition. Wheatstone bridge condition means what? There won't be any flow. Balanced condition I am talking about. There won't be any flow through the galvanometer, and the ratio of these two is equal to these two R. The ratio of P by Q is equal to R by S. That is also possible, right? It's correct. Understand? Now, let's see what we had discussed in the last classes. It's 2 ohm, 4 ohm, 5, no, it's, I can say it is 10, 20, right? So there is a resistor which is kept here of 100 ohm, understand? So it is a Wheatstone balanced condition or not, we need to check first. 2 by 4, the ratio is 1 by 2. 10 by 20, the ratio is 1 by 2. So now you can say that the 100 ohm resistor can be eliminated because no current will pass through that. When no current will pass through that, we will not be counting it in effective resistance. So this you eliminate, then the effective resistance will be what? If a current is starting from here, same current will flow through these two. Effective resistance is 20 ohm here. And 4 and 20, effective resistance is 24 here, and you know how to find the effective resistance. Okay, clear? Now let's see this example here. Let us see this example here. So there is a 50 ohm here, right? So it is 2, 6. Understand? It is 2, 6. And this is, I can say it is 3. And here it is 9. See the interest. 2 by 9 will definitely not equal to 3 by 6. Okay? Or 2 by 3 will definitely not equal to 9 by 6. So Wheatstone balanced condition is not satisfied here. When it is not satisfied, there will be current will be passing through 50 ohm resistance. Understand? So it is called unbalanced condition. In unbalanced condition, so there is a potential difference across this point and this. If it is x, if it is y, so the potential difference at the point x will not be equal to potential at point y. There is a potential difference exists. When potential difference exists, so current also will pass through that. In these cases, in finding effective resistance or current to any resistor or the total potential of the circuit, total voltage of the circuit or the battery, you can find by using Kirchhoff's rules. That's the main concept of learning the Wheatstone bridge. Balanced condition is very simple. How to solve the numericals in unbalanced condition. In 90% of the cases in your NEET exam, the questions will be asked only on the balanced condition. But there is a 10% chance. We should not leave that and let's learn unbalanced condition, Wheatstone bridge, how the questions can be solved.